Now that we already went over a majority of Rimuru's skills and abilities, I'm completely convinced that he truly is the strongest isekai protagonist to ever exist. I mean, you would think that after becoming a true demon lord and having 4 ultimate skills, he can already reach godlike levels, but apparently there are realms of power that go beyond the true demon lord and even the ultimate skill. And that is exactly what we'll be talking about today to what is hopefully the final entry to this 3-part series about how strong is Rimuru Tempest. So if you haven't watched the previous 2 parts, then I highly recommend checking it out because I do go over some elements that will help you to better understand what we'll talk about in today's video. As always, a spoiler warning. Also, please don't forget to give the video a like and subscribing to the channel for more upcoming Tensura videos.
楽に死ねると思うなよ。
As I said just now, the current ultimate skills that Rimuru has aren't even the most powerful skills in his arsenal, and if you think that the current Rimuru can already be called a pseudo-god, then during his confrontation with the Eastern Empire, he became a literal god, because this was the period where he would acquire, in my opinion, some of the most powerful skills in the Tensura universe. Again, he was only able to achieve this godly level of power thanks to Wisdom King Raphael, as this was the case when Wisdom King Raphael actually awakened to become a Theosophy core, or known as a Manas, after she was given the name Ciel by Rimuru during his fight against the true dragon Valgren. Ciel then separated from Wisdom King Raphael and became its own entity, meaning it technically became an ultimate skill of its own. She no longer performed actions based on cold logical calculations. She now became a far more intelligent entity that can feel and understand the emotions of her master while carrying out her actions through even more cunning and mischievous methods. Of course, she still performs all those actions solely for and also to grant the wishes of her master. Now a separate entity from Wisdom King Raphael, Ciel also retains some of her original sub-skills like thought acceleration, future attack prediction, analytical appraisal, parallel operation, synthesis and separation, chant annulment, all creation, skill modification, although all of the skills are far more powerful. For example, thought acceleration now allowed the processing speeds of hundreds of millions of times, while before it was just millions of times. Ciel also had picked up a few other sub-skills from the ultimate skills Gluttonous King BEELZEBUB and Lord of VOWS URIEL, like Food Chain and Law Manipulation, which are again more powerful versions of the original skills. Food Chain is now much more powerful as Ciel can now even alter and upgrade the skills of all the subordinates of Rimuru through evolution whenever she wants. And thanks to the birth of emotions and evolution of the intelligence of Ciel, made her so efficient and effective that it's to the point of being terrifying. And much like what Raphael did during the Harvest Festival, Ciel was also very trigger happy about developing and upgrading Rimuru's existing skills into something more powerful, now completely bypassing even the voice of the world. However, she didn't really change his skills just because she thought it was fun. There was meaning behind her actions, and it was mainly because there's actually a limited capacity of ultimate skills an individual can acquire. And in my previous videos, I mentioned that skills are something that's etched into a person or monster's very existence. So for Rimuru, who had 4 ultimate skills, it meant that it was putting a heavy amount of pressure onto his soul, and not counting that during his fight with Valgren, he actually gained a 5th ultimate skill in the form of Valgren, Lord of Scorch, similar to his other ultimate skill Valdora, Lord of Storms, after he consumed her. That's mainly why Ciel developed 2 new ultimate skills to reduce the existing ones Rimuru has, so it would be easier to manage. Now, the first of this ultimate skill to be developed by Ciel was the ultimate skill Void God AZATHOTH. This is an ultimate skill born from a combination of ultimate skills like BEELZEBUB, Raphael, some elements from URIEL, Valdora, and Valgren. It's not clear how many actual sub-skills this ultimate skill has, but the known ones currently are Soul Consumption, Nullity Collapse, Imaginary Space, True Dragon Release, True Dragon Nucleation, Time-Space Manipulation, and Multi-Dimensional Barrier. Soul consumption is quite similar to the one in BEELZEBUB where the user can devour the target's soul, but it now has the added effect from predation, allowing higher success rate, greater range, and can now even affect space-time itself. Next is the sub-skill Nihility Collapse, which could be one of Rimuru's most powerful sub-skills. This ability basically allows him to control the destructive energy from the void that completely negates or erases anything it comes in contact with, kind of like antimatter. To explain, in the beginning of the Tensura universe, there was only the void, but when Valdonava had created the world, Valdonava's creation pushed the void to the far reaches of the universe because creation cannot exist where the nihilistic energy of the void does. So in short, it just means that where there is void, there is no creation, so Rimuru literally holds the power to erase creation itself. Moving on is the sub-skill Imaginary Space, a skill that allows Rimuru to access the world of chaos, the place where the nihilistic energy comes from. It's very likely that this sub-skill had incorporated elements of unlimited imprisonment and law manipulation from URIEL because of the spatial property it has. This sub-skill is considered to be the evolved version of Stomach and Isolation, and he can also use it to imprison or quarantine anyone he wants. Then the True Dragon release sub-skill is similar to Summon Storm Dragon, but because Rimuru now added the ultimate skill Valgrian into his arsenal, the name changed to become more standard. He can now summon Valdora and Valgrian whenever he wants, and the True Dragons can also use this to teleport to him when they want to as well. And True Dragon Nucleation gives Rimuru the power to turn the True Dragons Valdora and Valgrian into cores and embed them into a sword or weapon, sort of like the Beast Stones used in Power Ranger Wild Force. Of course, they still had to agree to the transformation for the skill to take effect. That said, the next sub-skill is Time-Space Manipulation, which is, as the name implies, it gives him the ability to warp space and time. Now, the last sub-skill we have is called Multi-Dimensional Barrier, an evolved version of the sub-skill Absolute Defense from URIEL. It is an always active multi-dimensional barrier that surrounds the user, which is considered to be the Absolute Defense. Although similar to the Absolute Defense, this sub-skill likely uses the Void properties to create the barrier, so in essence, this could very well be the true Absolute Defense. Whereas when it was just a sub-skill from URIEL, it still had weaknesses like being able to be penetrated by skills like Absolute Severance and even Melt Slash. Now, Ciel didn't just stop at developing Void God Azathoth, she also decided to consolidate the remaining sub-skills from Beelzebub and URIEL to create a second ultimate skill called Harvest Lord SHUB-NIGGURATH. This was mostly an evolution for the ultimate skill URIEL, and it was developed to streamline the information analyzed while also being able to optimize and integrate new or existing skills that are taking up a large amount of space inside of Rimuru. Because most of the time, thanks to the sub-skills Isolation, Separation, and Synthesis, many leftover skills were transformed into magic or information stored inside of him. And yeah, although the storage capacity of Rimuru increased, don't forget that Ciel was always the one doing the organizing, and she deemed this to be too cumbersome for her, so she created this new ultimate skill. As for the sub-skills that belong to SHUB-NIGGURATH, there are 4 in total, and the first one is called Skill Creation. Like the name suggests, Skill Creation allows for new abilities to be obtained much easier than before, and also utilizes the sub-skill food chain and analysis to gather new information on the skills that are acquired so it can be understood and processed quicker. Then there's Skill Bank, which takes the newly acquired information about the skills and stores it for future references. And despite the name differences, I think this sub-skill is likely an improved and stronger version of the sub-skill Corrosion, which allows the user to acquire the ability of the target after absorbing it. And moving on, we have another sub-skill called Skill Duplication. This skill allows Rimuru to duplicate any skills he wants by taking the analyzed information stored inside of Skill Bank. Finally, we have the sub-skill Skill Gifting, and it pretty much does what you expect. It's a skill that allows Rimuru to copy any ability and bestow it to people who are compatible and have the right amount of magic skills. And similar to Food Chain, any given ability can also be taken back by Rimuru or Ciel if they wanted to. So yeah, that's basically all the information on Rimuru's current newest ultimate skills, and it really shows how each of the previous skills and experiences he had acquired built on each other to eventually culminate in his final form. Well, at least I hope it's the final stage of his evolution, but I'm not sure because the light novel is still ongoing, so that's that. But seriously though, who would have thought, right, that a normal slime in a cave would eventually turn into a powerful demon lord and then reaching the godly levels of a demon slime, being able to defeat beings like the True Dragons and becoming a pseudo True Dragon himself. Now, with his 3 new and improved ultimate skills, we definitely found out just how strong he has become. Having the Theosophy core Ciel to provide the ultimate computing power to be able to comprehend and understand the very word itself, the ultimate skill Void God Azathoth to give the supreme offense and defense against any opponents, becoming a literal force of nature, and Harvest Lord SHUB-NIGGURATH, the ultimate tool to make any changes to the very inhabitants of the world and acquire literally anything. So if these 3 ultimate skills don't convince you that Rimuru is one of the strongest isekai protagonists right now, then I don't know what can.
なんかラファエルさんが呆れているような気がする。
That said, I think I can finally conclude this 3-part series, and I'm glad you were able to join me as we discover how strong is Rimuru Tempest. So please feel free to share any thoughts you have about Rimuru, and do you agree or disagree with me that he is the strongest isekai protagonist right now? Also, don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more Tensura or other anime content in the future. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe everyone.